Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So we are going to chit chat in lieu of midday motion. I hope you are so well. I have had a crazy August, and I think when we admit that we're a little wiped out, my instinct is to then tell you, oh wait, but it's not that bad. Maybe someone else has it worse than me, but we don't need to do that here. So if you have been feeling exhausted, hi Anna, I commend you if you are taking a rest, whether that be at work, whether that be on your lunch break, maybe that's skipping class for a day. I know for me that my August has been just a lot. And so for me, I have the opportunity to take a break of moving. So I'm gonna take a break of moving. But I do still want to use our midday motion time to just get on here and talk. So I went ahead and made a list of some of really common questions I get in the yoga, dance, and meditation world, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. If you are watching live or recorded, comment your questions, and I'll either answer them in this session, or maybe I'll even answer them next time. Maybe we might do this for a little while. I kind of like the idea of getting to speak to you guys. I love teaching here on IG, but sometimes I feel like I can't interact directly with you, right? I can't see you like a Zoom meeting would be able to. And yeah, I just miss having interpersonal interactions with people. And this is a little bit closer than me moving on the other side of the room. I don't know about you guys, but after this whole 2 years of pandemic life, teaching online, in person, maybe your work has changed, or the amount of time you spend with friends or family or doing things you love has changed. I just miss talking to people. I know that I was teaching a class, and it was a pretty small class this week, and even though it was a small number of students, I just had really great chats with them, and I was like, man, I miss this. And I also miss it because I took the summer off from a lot of teaching. I just took a little break. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that makes me love teaching, is the people. And the moving is good too, don't get me wrong. Motionally available, literally motion is my life. But I think when we move through conversation together, when we move ideas through our mind, that's motion too. So think about that the next time you want to take a break. You're still doing a lot. You're just taking a break from one of the many things you do. Yeah? Okay. So I have been seeing a lot of 200-hour RYTs pop up for my yoga people online. And I wonder if you've been thinking about getting your 200-hour RYT, or maybe you're just like, what is this thing? So my first question is, what is a 200-hour RYT? So a 200-hour RYT stands for 200 hours of studying to be a registered yoga teacher. I've also heard YTT, yoga teacher training, but it's all about becoming a yoga teacher. And so you need 200 hours of work that is with an accredited program. So you get a studio sometimes doing this, an individual instructor, or just another kind of entity that offers yoga. And they are gonna go ahead and get approval from the Yoga Alliance, and then they are kind of have that circle that says approved. So Yoga Alliance is kind of like a governing body of yoga, but it's important to remember that there is no such thing as the yoga police. So whether you go with programs, or whether you, let me put it this way, whether you are a student taking just regular classes from a teacher, they may have gotten their certification that was approved through the Yoga Alliance, but not every teacher is super involved with Yoga Alliance. So for example, I'm not a member right now, but my YTT or RYT was approved through them. So if you're a teacher, know that you should look for that stamp of approval, but then there's also opportunities to be more involved with Yoga Alliance. That's a personal decision once you're certified. If you're just a student, don't worry about any of this stuff. Just know that your teacher has done 200 hours of study. I know that I studied not only the poses, asana, but I studied all the pillars of yoga, history, kinesiology, a lot of mindfulness. We did not only work on how to help other people through these things, but also work on ourselves. I think that as teachers, we're like constant students as well, and that's a really important thing to remember. And actually, a lot of my fellow students that did the training with me and mine weren't even going to be teachers. They just wanted to deepen their own study of yoga, which is totally cool. Some were like, maybe I'll do it in the future. Maybe I'll never do it. But I really like taking like courses. That's the best way that I learn. So I bet that even if I didn't want to become a yoga instructor, I can see why taking it as a course for your own self-study and self is really cool, whether or not you're ever going to offer it to other people. Okay, next question. Dance. I have a dance question. How do we get into adult dance? Okay, so even though I'm a teacher in dance, I still was an adult dancer who had to return. So I actually took a break from dance through a lot of middle school and high school, and then I returned in college and I found modern dance first, and then I re-entered the ballet world as well. For me, I had the framework of classes offered to me at NC State. They had a really great PE program of dance, but I was also in their dance company. And there's also one or two schools in town that offered some really good adult classes. When I speak to other people who are not already in a college or a big city, it becomes more challenging to find adult classes. I would love to know what your struggle right now is first. But here's one of the best tips I can give you. Find a studio in which you connect with the teacher. I'll say it again. Find a studio that you connect with the teacher, because obviously it needs to be convenient to your house. If you're taking in-person classes, it should be affordable, what the studio is offering, convenient time, all that good stuff. But also you need to love the teacher. And if you love the teacher, you'll know that you'll want to go back every time. It's important to remember that there's not one kind of ballet dancer, therefore there's not one kind of ballet teacher. Everyone has a different vibe. And you need to find a teacher you vibe with, especially when we're committing as adults to new things. That is hard. So you better really like the person facilitating. So obviously look at their credentials, and that's good stuff, is just like a good idea. But also make sure you vibe with them. They do not have to be your best friend. I have chosen teachers that I would not choose as a friend because they're like too tough or intense or maybe loud, or I don't know, just something about them. But I know that they gave me the vibe I wanted in class, right? So we don't have to pick perfect teachers or perfect people as teachers, but I want you to notice how you feel in class, and if you want to keep feeling that way. That's gonna be able to build long-term success with your teacher when you know them and you trust them. Also, use online. The adult ballet community is thriving on Instagram, so definitely look up some of those hashtags, adult ballet game, adult ballet community, and find your tribe, because really it's just exploding here. And if you're into other dance styles, they're there for you too. Jazz, there's a lot of classes that I see that offer ballet classes, will also offer jazz classes. Modern dance is a little harder to find sometimes. It tends to be in big cities, but of course Motionally Available is doing modern online, so I'd love for you to join me. But yeah, try to connect with the actual teacher. Follow them on social media. Go to their class, meet them, talk to them before and after, etc. I also have been getting a lot of questions on not only how you start dance as an adult, but how do you start meditating. I was really not enjoying my meditation practice for a long time. I kind of was like, oh, well, I teach yoga, I know how to do it. But then I would never do it because it's really hard to just pause. So I think it's important to remember that meditation is just time with yourself. It doesn't need to be this like amazing existential thing that you experience. It's just time. So think of it that way. And that could be a minute or 5 or 10 or 20. It could be walking silently, right? No technology, just walk. It could be listening to music. It could be any activity that feels soothing to you. So maybe start with one of those and then eventually work into an actual silent meditation. But a lot of times my best like meditative states happen by accident when I'm on walks. and that feels really good. And sometimes when my body just has too much energy to sit still, a walking meditation is a really great way to do that. I don't do great walking meditation when I have my dog with me. I tend to get really distracted, even though I love walking with my dog. But try a walking meditation or a listening to music meditation. And maybe choose music that doesn't have really strong lyrics or lyrics you know by heart, because you kind of want to like get out of your brain, not have your brain trying to remember lyrics. Okay, I have 3 more questions. We're halfway through already. You ready? Where do I buy yoga equipment? So you don't need any equipment to do yoga, but equipment helps. Same thing with like, you don't need a meditation pillow, but if it makes you meditate more, it makes you feel more confident, buy the pillow. You don't need fancy dance clothes. You could do it in your sweats. Sometimes you feel better when you're wearing the right thing. So first of all, you don't need any special equipment to do anything. You just need your body and comfortable clothes. But first of all, it would be great if we could all buy equipment from brands that are ethical and environmentally responsible. That's really important. So I would really encourage you to consider those kinds of brands first. If that's out of your budget, if for some reason that's not accessible to you, maybe think about quality over quantity. Save up as much as you can and try to invest in those kinds of brands. But when you just look at what's available, and I think what's priced well, regardless of super responsible and ethical buying, which I don't even want to give advice outside of that, but I know it's not in everyone's ability to buy ethical brands 100% of the time and eco-friendly brands 100% of the time. So I've had really good success with Gaiam. I really like their equipment. I feel like they have a good range of them. I feel like they're good quality. I've had some Gaiam equipment for like a decade. They have a website, and they also have a lot of great like yoga resources, so you could look it up there. My towel was Yogi Toes. I really like them. I think they're great. And then obviously, if you are really just needing somewhere quick, if you go to Target, you can buy a mat for $10. So, but make sure you take care of your stuff. So if you can't buy eco-friendly or like stamped ethically approved, go ahead and take really good care of your stuff, so we're not contributing to more waste. So that's a good way that you can slowly work towards being more eco-friendly and more socially responsible, while also doing what feels accessible to you. Take good care of that stuff, people. Okay, clothing, specifically dance clothing. So if you're in the yoga world, you're just gonna wear whatever you want. Like, the only thing I would suggest is if you wear really loose clothing, when you do inverted poses, even like downward dog, your shirt will come off. If that's something that feels appropriate in your environment and to you, cool. But in most classes, it's expected to be pretty clothed. So I would just be mindful of that. I see a lot of loosey-goosey, great-looking loungewear, like on Instagram with people doing yoga, but I don't necessarily think that's always practical for like a really hot, sweaty class. With that said, there's nothing about your clothing or you that limits you from yoga, so wear what makes sense for you. In the dance world, this becomes more complicated, I think, because the issue of leotard and tights sometimes comes up, or the need to have to wear fitted clothes. It's in the yoga world too, right? Tiny person in leggings is like, for some reason, our new model for like what we should be wearing. But in the dance world, it becomes a little more tricky. We have issues of race when we think about pink tights. That's traditionally a white woman's skin color historically. That was the skin color that they could make 100 years ago, pink. And we need more brown colors in that. We also need to think about size, right? Like a lot of times a large leotard is not what I think of as a large bodied leotard. So in almost all of my leotards, I wear a large, and my dress size is a 6. I don't think that's fair. That really makes me mad. Not because being in a size large triggers me in any way, but I'm very frustrated for people in larger bodies who then have to buy XXXXXL, or they don't even make them in a size, let's say dress size 12, 16, 20, whatever it is. So I found that my block leotard is at least long enough for my height. I find that I think Capezio might also have a long torso. That kind of helps, not just with my tall people, but with my slightly wider dancers. Having length is called girth. You take the measurement from the shoulder down into your crotch and then back up to your shoulder. Think about like wearing a sash that goes between your legs and attaches here. That's a girth measurement. When you buy clothes online, that is the best thing I can tell you. Take your girth measurement and use that above every other measurement when you're buying a leotard. I promise you that there are leotards out there for you. I'm so frustrated that it's harder for my larger bodied friends. Even us tall people are just dying out here. So I would encourage you to always make sure that you can return. Always buy a size up and a size down. I have not had great luck on Amazon. Stores like Walmart and Target don't really sell leotards unless you're a 5-year-old. So I'd also encourage you to go to dance stores in person, but call ahead so you're not disappointed when you get there if they don't have your sizes. We could go into a lot more about body positivity in the dance world, but that's for another video. Okay, so my last thing I want to talk to you about is tools in meditation. So we don't really need clothes for meditation or like equipment that we've kind of covered in other styles, but we can think about tools in meditation. So one of my favorite, allergies. One of the things I like to use when I meditate is something that I can hold. So like maybe not tea because that's very hot, but you could hold tea and meditate. I like to hold like a crystal or a small, I'm seeing if I have one around, a small object that I just really like. It could be like a small gift. I have a great little like bird that I got on vacation. This would be a great thing to hold. That's not like a crystal or anything, like a necklace or religious or anything like that. And just holding that, and then you could meditate on how good you felt on that vacation. So, I see a lot of meditation stuff with like crystals and cards and tarot and a lot of tools in that vein, and those are great. I love pulling an oracle card to help me meditate. But I want to remind my people who don't vibe with that as much that anything can be used as a tool to meditate. So you don't have to hold a crystal, you could just hold your favorite tiny item. You don't have to pull tarot cards, you could open up your favorite book. Let's do it. Or any book, and open up to a page. Let's see. So I just landed on the word was. So maybe my meditation today is about my past, what I was, and then how I want to move forward. So maybe I challenge myself to excavate something from the past. So it's really easy to just pull. Also, this is Ken Follett, Column of Fire, if you wanted to know. There's so many tools you could use in meditation. So we could do word inspiration meditations, object inspired meditations. We've already talked about going for a walk and how you might be able to start that process slowly. But I also encourage you to just, as a tool, think about what is soothing to you. Is it wearing your favorite sweatshirt? Is it drinking your favorite tea? Is something soothing to you lying on your bed? Is something soothing to you sitting outside? And then turn that comforting thing into an active tool for meditation. And I think you're gonna find that it becomes a really productive experience. So definitely think about what tools you already have. Like I said, for most of these themes of these questions, you don't need to go out and get other things. You are perfect the way you are to do whatever activities you want. And a real benefit of doing a lot of movement classes or meditation or yoga online is that you're in the comfort of your own home. So maybe we're a little braver lately to do what we need. And we've kind of taken the societal pressure out of like being in a class and doing what everyone else is doing, and instead just doing what we need to do. I think we should feel confident in front of anyone and with no one at the same time, but I know that new experiences can be intimidating when everyone else in the room seems like they know what they're doing and you're like, I don't even know where the bathroom at this place is. Like I'm imagining myself walking into a new yoga studio, like, it's terrifying. But maybe trying that new yoga pose at home with a video online is quite useful. So if you feel that way like I do sometimes, I invite you to the Motionally Available membership. It's online movement classes. And if you need any other questions answered, or maybe one of these questions kind of inspired you to think about another question, then definitely drop it in the comment here live or on the recorded commenting, and I will save it for next time. I hope you are so well, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Bye, guys.